Hello, Mario! Engineering, Design and Drawing, MG5005, Session 4, Technical Drawing. Hello, welcome. Well, let's get started and go into the Moodle Engineering, Design and Drawing 2000X. Okay, session 4. Let's make it generic. Session 4. Okay, so before you have come to class, you will have reviewed the technical drawing classes, technical drawing resources below. And you have prepared to ask any questions you have, ask any questions you may have in class. So, session 4 is technical drawing. And here's the session notes, just located right here by way of a PowerPoint. So let's get that underway. Open and do a slideshow from the beginning. First slide, we've done that already. So here's the session plan. Have you signed the register? Signing the register is particularly important because if you don't sign the register, there's no record of your attendance. So when it comes to marking the roll, you could be marked absent when in fact you are present. So please make sure you have signed the register. If you have not signed the register, or you are watching this from another location and you are not at class, perhaps it would be a good idea to send your tutor just an email or a text or something to explain why you're not there. And then he or she, or he in this case, may be able to mark the attendance register accordingly so that the implications of your absence are fully known. All good. Let's move on. Or sign the register. Okay, so now moving on. Key learning outcomes. On the successful completion of this session, you should have examined your approach to questions, continued to develop CAD skills, updated your diary, refined a work program for the tennis ball launcher, and become aware of technical drawing, if you weren't already, and understood what to do before next week. Okay, now, just by way of a little introduction, hope is not a strategy. Coming to class and attending, listening, doing a little bit of work, going away, not doing anything till you come to class again, and hoping that you'll pass, well, I've attended class, that is not a strategy. A strategy is where you set out what you're going to do and try to get as much work done as possible, or definitely identify the work that has to be done, the critical work, and get it done. Just attending is not enough. Learning does not occur by osmosis. It occurs by hard work and by having a strategy, a program of work or something that you're going to do. Just hoping that you'll pass is not enough. You do actually have to do a little more than that. Now, today's session is brought to you. I have a sort of a guest speaker, if you like, called Albert Einstein. I'll be speaking on his behalf, but he will be leaving us a few words for us to consider and have a look at. Now, Albert says, question everything. And this is a good strategy. Question everything. It's through questions that we learn. If we don't ask questions, we don't really learn. We need to ask appropriate questions to get the answers and acquire the information and knowledge and improve our own understanding of things. So question everything. Questions are the key. Albert says, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. Now this comes from Albert, who was born or lived in Europe in a time of extreme turmoil. A lot of his colleagues and friends and the people he went to school with and that he knew would not have survived that time because of the turmoil that was going on. So Albert would have had a very good appreciation of life and the concept of if my life depended on it would have been a significant issue for him. So he would not have said this lightly. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. So think about this. It is very important that you ask questions. This is how we learn. This is how we advance. Ask questions. Now, I have here this statement by Olivia on a nice pink piece of pink paper with white writing. So that doesn't lend too much credibility to Olivia, whoever she is, Olivia Anonymous. But the statement she has made is so true and really nails it. Particularly when we're, if you're frightened, some people have difficulty asking questions or think they might be stupid questions or that people might judge them based on their questions. This statement here sums up that whole attitude and debunks the argument. There is no stupid question. Stupid people don't ask questions. So I would say, ask questions. Prove that you're in the zone, you're asking questions you need to know. If you have a question that, or something you want to know that begs a question and you don't answer it, that is a greater crime. Ask more questions. Knowledge is having the right answer. And there's lots of knowledge about, and it's quite easy to find sometimes the right answer. Intelligence is asking the right question. Asking the right question. So once again, question, question, question. Question everything. Questions are important. Questions are key to learning. All right. Now, is your diary up to date? Filling in your diary. Diaries are best filled in contemporaneously at the time when the events occurred. Not 2 weeks later when your memory has perhaps faded somewhat. So if you haven't filled in your diary for a couple of events, do it now or after, or sometime just very near. Is your diary up to date? Basic 2D CAD. Well, I have been getting a little bit of feedback from people doing the basic 2D CAD, and the feedback I'm receiving is good. I don't know whether I'm receiving the feedback from people, from everybody, and there are some people I know I haven't received any feedback from, so I can't really tell how they're doing. The feedback I'm receiving tells me that those people seem to be doing quite well. They're well advanced and they're getting the work done, and they seem to, and the questions they ask are relevant, and tell me that their knowledge is improving day by day. So if you don't give me feedback, if you don't talk to me, I can only, I have to assume that you're doing very well. Now the skill sheets, I have the skill sheets that I ask you to sign. And part of my reason for having the skill sheets, I just might go back to that. These are the skill sheets here. Part of my reason for having the skill sheets and just signing 5 at a time, 5 skills off at a time, means that I have to talk to you, interact with you, and get a little bit of feedback. So this is a cunning plan, a very cunning plan, because this enables me to determine where you're at and how you're going, and to let you know perhaps that things are going along okay and that you're on track. Now, speaking about on track, in terms of allocated class time or for 2D CAD, we've only got 3 more weeks. But as you'll see, next week may well be taken up with the tennis ball launcher situation. So be aware of that. So there's only 1, 2, 3 weeks with the 2D CAD. You should perhaps be certainly starting to finish the floor plan and working into the elevation. Some of you I know have finished and are actually starting the next assignment, the picnic table, which I haven't officially issued just yet. So if you are embarking on that course of action, might pay just to touch base with me just to make sure that you are on track. Although there's no changes from last year, I haven't sort of done an official briefing on it. So there may be a couple of points that you're missing, so I don't want to disappoint you by requesting additional work, or perhaps a particular task is not hitting the right target. So just be aware of that. Let me know if you would like to see an example of some work from previous years on the picnic table. Also let me know, and I can arrange for that as well. Okay, so basic 2D CAD, 3 more weeks to go. Here's the skill sheet, 5 a day or 2 lots of 5. Get that filled out, and that that's pretty much almost 50% of the whole assignment. So if you can get that completed, that's 50% done, and then getting that completed and some plans and things will ensure that you're getting a pretty good mark for that assignment. All right, the tennis ball launcher. Okay, I have forgotten to update this, and I shouldn't have. So there's only, I'm going to have to update that now, and just, I've slipped my mind. Will enable some editing here, and there's only 1 more week. Okay, there's only 1 more week on that there. So slideshow, we'll go back to the slideshow. slideshow from the current slide. Yes, only one more week, and that's this week. So next week, so that's this week. That's the 1 week left. So next week is when we launch. That's when the tennis ball launching will occur, next week. Okay, so there's only 1 week left to get everything done. Well, not everything done, but certainly to get your launcher up to spec and your static display ready and your presentation sorted. Okay. And with regards to the tennis ball launcher, remember that the purpose of the assignment is to demonstrate or to show your knowledge of the design process. And I had some questions last week regarding report writing guide, and you'll find some information on that under the resources tab for the report writing guide under the resources tab. I went through that a little bit last week in class, so we'll perhaps have a look at that when we go through to Moodle. So before next week, I haven't updated that as well, but I'll have to update this slide too. Next week, I guess is, Control Z, is going to be prepare the tennis ball launcher. Oh, that's not, oh golly. That should be there. Prepare. Prepare tennis ball launcher. Okay, so that's for next week. Before next week, prepare tennis ball launcher. Enter static display. Presentation. And static display. So that's before next week. So you need to have your tennis ball launcher ready, your presentation ready to present, and the static display all organized. Okay, so that's before next week. And then finally, we'll go back to the slideshow from the current slide, and what's new in Moodle. We'll go in and have a look at Moodle. So a couple of slides I had to update there, but I think you can see from the effect of updating those, probably help you to focus on what's required there. So that's what's happening. So let's get out of here. Let's just perhaps close down this slideshow here. No, I won't. I'll save those. Yes. All right. So where will I save them? It hasn't actually asked me anything there like that. That's all good. No problems. Okay. So here we are back in Moodle. The basic 2D CAD. There. I'll just go to the 2D CAD. There's been a couple of little things I've added there. I've added this Ask Me Anything tab here in the 2D CAD. And what's happening there is people have asked me various questions. And so I've put the question in here, like for instance, are you able to provide more detail on annotative dimensioning? So I've put something there. What is the purge command? Which printer should I use? A number of people have said that they don't have the Adobe PDF printer available. So what one should they use? I've made some suggestions in there. However, on testing them in the Wintec environment, I found that perhaps one of them might not be the best way to go. But certainly there's some options there and things you can do. How do you download and add blocks? Some people said that I didn't provide dimensions for all the furniture. That was sort of intentional, and that you would start doing some of that on your own. And so I've just talked about that and show how to download some blocks and and enter them into your 2D CAD drawings. And also some work on line types. How to do the dotted line type for the roof lines. Had a question on that. And so I've shown a couple of ways there of either creating a new line type or using some of the existing ones in AutoCAD, or locating the traverse line type that I use. It being the line type I also use for traverse lines in my surveying program. So that's the Ask Me Anything there. If you can, like you'll see here, like for instance, I'll give you an example of this one here. I'll actually go to YouTube. Hopefully I can go from there. So what you'll see is that you'll see that the actual YouTube,
AutoCAD purge command.
And so you'll see there.
All right. Hello. Well, the AutoCAD.
Wasn't a good choice actually. That one. I should have used this one here. Which printer should I use? Because what I was trying to.
Oh, Mario! Ask me anything. Which printer should I choose?
So what I've done there, as you can see, I've chosen actually put the letter and the question that I've received from the student there. Shut up, Mario. Okay, so I'll just there. So that's when people send me emails in, I generate a little Ask Me Anything video from those. So just thought I'd let you know on that and how that works. And so you can look in there for different ones, and I'll perhaps point them out each week. So that's what's happening in basic 2D CAD, of course. And let's get back to the show. Now, this is session 4, which is there, and it's around technical drawing. So I understand that you haven't specifically done this before. So what this is a whole series of notes about technical drawing and how it applies to the drawing you've got. So there's various handouts which I would read. I'm going to just select one of them here, and it's this one here, and it just gives you some ideas. Now this one talks about sheet sizes, how A4, A3, A2 all fit together, and gives you some suggestions there as to borders and what have you. This is your templates, which we've looked at. So this is these relate to the days of drawings, sort of in a sense pre-CAD really, but still quite relevant. Some of the stuff there gives the names. So this is quite general. The parts of the title block are always quite helpful, and why they're there. So that may be able to explain that. This explains the various projections. So there's first angle projection, third angle projection, and how they all fit together. So this may be when you are drawing plans and you're trying to get them all to fit together, just what goes where and how you should draw them and why. So This gives you a little bit of a background as to why we do things, and actually tells you what to do with the plans. So we've got this little symbol here of the projection symbol, first angle projection. It's projected to the opposite side that you're looking at. So and the third angle projection projected to the same side that you're looking at, and gives an explanation of these and some various things and how they all fit together and what have you. So all very good background information. You'll see, I think that one's turned off because the link is broken. This one here, just a technical drawing handout here. Again, just some more information about the types of views and why you do them. Now, particularly like because we have the different disciplines, some of you may have different views. So the use of these views and how they relate and their relevance and background may be, say, more important to the mechanical students than to the civil students, for instance. But for each discipline, there are various standards and sort of industry type cultures that apply. So it is, and you will from time to time have to read plans from all sorts of disciplines. So it's very important that you do some background and have a little bit of an understanding. Now, as you can probably ascertain, I mean, a lot of this stuff here is not particularly on the tip of my tongue and my understanding, but I am aware of the situation and aware that if I was to be drawing a plan of this nature, that I would sort of have to follow this. So I would do a bit of research beforehand and work out how my client or whoever it was would be expecting these plans to appear and what sort of conventions might be used, so that everybody can understand the plans and become reasonably familiar with them and what these things all mean. So yes, a review of the information, a reading through, perhaps a highlighting in a notes is very important for this information, because this is background that you will need or you need to be aware of. So there are a number of resources available. Read the different publications to get a good understanding of the subject. Also, if you find a publication, also find a publication that best meets your requirements. So yeah, this is what this is about. The old technical drawing is what it used to be called when I was at school. I mean, I guess these days it's called graphics or something like that. I'm not sure, but these are old school ways of how plans are thing, still relevant today. They do these things for a reason, not just to make your life difficult. So yeah, do some reading on that technical information and what have you. So yeah, just on the resource front here, the design process, I've got the report writing guides that I talked about. So these are the there's a report writing guideline for the design process assignment, can be found here, and it tells you you know what sort of the headings might be and what's involved and all sorts of good stuff like that. So try to follow that as closely as you can. If you wish to deviate from that or have some other report format that you want to follow, that's not beyond the realms of possibility, but please maybe take the time to discuss it with me and perhaps ask if that's okay, or email me a copy for comment or something along those lines. I'm sure we can come up with a mutually agreeable report format. But your report should follow a format and should follow a particular format that is best suited to the situation. Okay, so let's let's get back to business. I think we can possibly leave that there for now, and let's well, I think that's a fair introduction to session 4 and given you plenty to think about. So if you have any questions, send me an email, a text, ask me in person. Email is better because I keep them in my inbox so I don't forget. Yeah, let's get session 4 done. Cheers. See you.